State allows abortion.
Do we have a Donald Trump live stream with a subtitles? Right Side Broadcasting usually has
subtitles. And even after birth, in some cases, she claimed, "I want to monitor women."
I don't want to do that. I don't want to. It's a total lie. I don't want to do that. Women, I won't be following you around to the hospital monitoring. No, she made it up. She's a liar. She doesn't work at McDonald's. She said she worked at McDonald's, right? Right? She worked at McDonald's and she was working so hard. There's only one problem. She didn't work at McDonald's. She's a liar. Liar. She claimed that I want to deny people IVF treatment when in fact I want to require insurance companies to pay for it. And I came out totally in favor of IVF. That's fertilization for the men in the audience. I wish we got a lot of tough ones here. She claims she doesn't want to ban fracking when she said repeatedly over a 10-year period, "I will not have fracking." Then about a little while ago, she goes, "I'd love to have fracking." Her pollster came back and said, "This is not good. In Pennsylvania, you want to ban fracking. That's not so good. That's a big part of what they do, right?" And she came back. All of a sudden, she thought fracking was wonderful. Here's what happens with all of these things. Right after the election, she goes back to where she was. She claims she doesn't support mass gun confiscation, when in fact, she supported it entirely, and through her entire career, think of that, she wants to confiscate your guns. Does anybody in the audience have a gun? Raise your hand. Would you mind if this lunatic knocked on your door? "Hello, I'd like to take away your gun." Is that all right? Especially the women won't allow it. They're not going to allow it. That's unbelievable. What is that, about 100% of the audience? Let's go. Does anybody in the audience not have a gun? Wait, there's somebody. So if you want to keep your gun, we don't have to go through the rest of it. You want to keep your gun, vote for Trump, okay? I promise. But, you know, she did something even worse than that. You know what it is? She was the leader of a thing called, a movement, Defund the Police. How about that? She was the leader of the movement to defund the police. Now think of it. Anybody that wants to defund the police, that's called, she's down and dirty left, okay? That's down and dirty. If she's in there for a week at defund the police, we don't want her to be president. We don't want her for anything, frankly. But all of a sudden, she says, "No, I never said it." You know, she actually goes around saying she never said it. But we've got like 10 years of tapes where she's saying it. With the guns, with the fracking, with everything we mentioned. She had many years of tapes. But the public was not fooled. They saw right through it. Kamala's lies and unprecedented partisan interference of two low-life anchors. They're low-lives. For them to do what they did, and they wouldn't correct her on like Project 25. I don't know what the hell it is. I purposely have not read it. I could, but I don't want to, because they never had my authorization.
He said, "I could. I know how to read. I promise you."
With me, everything I said. Well, we don't think it's true, like the crime statistics. The FBI didn't report the most crime-ridden cities. They didn't do it. They left out large numbers of areas where they had a lot of crime. So the numbers came in, they weren't up too much. And if anybody in this audience doesn't think there's more crime now, there's so much more crime now, but they gave false and fraudulent numbers. They did it with something else. 818,000 jobs. Think of it. They said they had 818.
Bro, does he think that FBI is the only place that compiles this data? Because he's talking about LAPD and NYPD, right? Does he think that like LAPD and NYPD does not have their own metrics that they release? Because it's true. The FBI stats, FBI crime data is collected nationally, but some departments don't fucking work with the FBI on this. For example, California and like Los Angeles Police Department, NYPD don't work with the FBI on this data.
Different kind of a word. Nice name. Very nice name. But you know Norris Harris. When you say Harris, everyone says, who the hell is that, right? But she immediately called for a second debate, which means that she was like a prize fighter that lost a fight. We had two debates, though.
Who's BTSM?
I had a debate with Crooked Joe Biden, right? And I had another debate with her. She and Crooked Joe have destroyed our country with millions of criminals and mentally deranged people pouring into the USA, totally unchecked, unvetted, and with inflation
Black Tiger
bankrupting our middle class. It has gotten bad. Everyone knows this, and all of the other problems caused by Kamala and Joe. It was discussed in great detail during the first debate with Joe and the second debate with Comrade Harris. She was a no-show at the Fox debate. You know, Fox invited her. She was a no-show. I sat with the great Sean Hannity. Does anybody know Sean Hannity? Good man. He's a good man. And I said, where is she? She didn't show. So we did a town hall. And he got great ratings on that town hall, I'll tell you right now. Got really great. Led all of television for the week. It's not bad, right? Simple town hall. Turned out to be a town hall from what it was supposed to be, but she didn't show up. And refused also to do NBC and CBS. She went over to ABC, which in my opinion has taken a big hit because these two people were bad news. They kept screaming at me. I said, why are you screaming? I'm saying to myself, I'm looking at him. I always liked him. I'm not going to watch him anymore. I'm not going to watch him because he's not legit, what he did. I'm not going to watch him. And his hair's not as good as it used to be, you know? Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4-year period. She kept complaining, well, you know, when I'm in, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And at the end of the debate, I said, why don't you just do it? You could leave right now. Why don't you do it? I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this and that and that. Remember at the convention when she went out and they nominated her, even though she got no votes, they nominated her? No, she came in last place in the primaries, right? And then she said, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. No, she's a threat to democracy. She is a threat to democracy. But you remember when she went out and she said thank you? Do you remember that? It was the weirdest thing. Am I wrong? Because they were saying JD and I are weird. No, we're very solid people. She's weird. And that vice president of hers is really weird. He's really... That was a soundbite. You know, they said, oh, he's weird. That was, in other words, they gave it to their friends in the fake news. Weird. It's something I've never called. I've been called a lot of bad things, but not weird. But, you know, she went out and the people were applauding and stuff. And she goes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. I think she went nuts. There was something wrong with her. But I was very happy because I got the endorsement of the vice president's family. And I got the endorsement of the vice president's brother. And even sent me a contribution. And I was very happy because Barack Hussein Obama, his brother, as you know, endorsed me. So, no, his brother endorsed me. That's not easy. Now, so we have the endorsement of President Obama's brother. We have the endorsement of the brother of the future vice president. He better not win. If he ever won, this country will be in bad shape. It's already in bad shape. 3.5 years of what they've done to this country, especially, look, we're laughed at all over the world. We would have never had the Russia Ukraine problem. We would have never had October 7th, Israel, the attack on Israel. None of these things, and we wouldn't have had inflation. And we wouldn't have had that horrible, the way we pulled out in Afghanistan was so horrible. None of those things would have happened. We would have had a much different country. And we wouldn't have 21 million people in our country right now that shouldn't be here. That I can tell you. So because we've done 2 debates and because they were successful, there will be no third debate. It's too late anyway. The voting's already begun. You got to go out and vote.
Cope,
We got to vote.
fucking loser,
This is
dude.
going to be
That's
the
loser
most
shit.
important vote in the history of our country. It'll be the most important.
That's such
People said
loser
that I
shit,
was
dog.
angry at the debate. Angry. I was angry. And yes, I am angry because he allowed 21 million illegal aliens invading our communities. Many of them are criminals. Many are criminals. I'm angry. I'm angry. They said he's an angry person. No, they're destroying our country. I don't like. She's smiling. All practice, right? Did you see her? She's like, we're talking about a border invasion, the likes of which no country has ever suffered, and she's like this. But I am angry about Venezuelan gangs taking over Aurora, Colorado. And illegal Haitians, and he came in, illegal Haitian migrants taking over a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Springfield, Ohio. I was there. I campaigned there a while ago. Springfield, it was so beautiful. Now it's just, what a place. Can you imagine you have this small little community, all of a sudden you have 20,000 illegals in your community. Nobody knows where they come from. I'm angry about young American girls being raped and sodomized and murdered by savage criminal aliens. I'm angry about rampant inflation destroying our middle class, and the American people are also very angry about that and every other thing that we've had to endure for 3.5 years. That's why 54 days from now, we are going to tell Harris that we've had enough. Our country.
We're literally watching a Hitler rally, straight up, colorized, 2024, in broad daylight. And it's kind of fucking wild that the Democrats have not made a peep about this shit.
You had no chance of getting this position. You shouldn't have had it. You got no votes. Whether you like Biden or not, he got 14 million votes. He had none, not one.
The Democrats' counter messaging on this front is no longer a matter of like winning the election, even though it does have positive electoral consequences. It's more so a matter of like saving America and not allowing it to turn completely into Adolf Hitler's vision, his grand vision. And I think that that is completely unavoidable at this point. Like the less interested they seemingly are in combating the narrative that like undocumented migrants are just like sodomizing your daughters, which is insanely fucking, like, that is scary as shit. Okay, the more they capitulate to the right-wing framing, the more unhinged the right will get. This is at the basis of fucking, I mean, this is the basis of the ratchet effect, and we're watching it unfold in real time in front of our fucking eyes, and no one is saying this shit.
Strong military. They don't want a border invasion. They don't want people pouring across the border illegally from prisons and places. So they go in, they say, no, I'm not for Trump at all. I will never vote for him. Then they go in. It's true. And then they go out and they do exit polls. And, you know, in 2016 and 2020, where I got many more, millions more votes, by the way, I hate to say that. They say, oh, that's a conspiracy theorist. No, it's called, I got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country.
Yeah, except for Joe Biden, who beat
They
you.
said we lost. I was told if I got 63 million votes, which is what I got in 2016, you can't lose. Just get 63. I got close to 12 million more votes than that, and we lost. But we didn't lose. And we're never going to let that happen again in this country. We're never going to let that happen. We can't let that happen again. But when they had exit polls, 2016, and they said, oh, he's getting killed in the exit polls. And I remember NBC and that stupid ABC that did this horrible debate. Those two people should be fired as an anchor. A couple of more years, they'll be fired. And she was nasty. She looked at me with hatred in her eyes. And him, he's a nice guy. I mean, they were told to do it by George Slobodopoulos,
Wait, David Muir was way more aggressive.
right? George Slobodopoulos.
He just hates the woman because she's a woman of color. That's it,
so
bro.
people are walking out and they're saying,
David Muir was bouldering him.
Sir, who'd you vote for? And they'd say, Crooked Hillary or Trump, right? But so many of them, like almost 50%, said, none of your business who we voted for. They have a tougher word, 2 words, not like Biden, 1 word, and then he gives 2. 2 words. They begin with the letters F-U. That's what they say to the people. F-U. I would never say them because we have a lot of young people here. My audience they've gotten younger and younger. Do you notice that? Younger and younger. Don't worry, I still like the old people the best. I don't care. I don't care. Let that cost me, all these young people. Let that cost me the election. I still like the old people the best. Got to stay with the people that got you there, right? I love what we're doing for the old people, you'll hear. But so that was the 2 words, but I don't want to use those words. So they said, none of your business, which is not really what they said. And they walked out, and everybody said, Trump is finished. He's not getting the numbers. Because in the past, nobody said that. They'd say, I'm voting for this one or that one. There were no people that wouldn't say, they'd just say who they voted for. So what they did, thank you, darling, thank you. So what they did, she keeps saying, I love you, right in the middle of my punchline. So they always say one or the other. And I had one analyst who was very smart.
He's talking about how like Republicans are not reflected in the polls. That's what he's trying to explain.
I'm sorry, sir. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And they say, this is 4 o'clock in the afternoon because, they've interviewed all these people. And another one would call me. They all said, oh, they were actually happy. Most of them were happy. Some were really sad, though. A lot of the people were really sad. So it came out, this is going to be a very short evening for Donald Trump. They were so happy. Martha Raddatz was actually crying at the end when I won. She was crying. You don't think she's biased, do you? Martha Raddatz, also of ABC. ABC is the worst of the group, by the way, I have to tell you. They're all bad. But the worst is ABC, and they proved that with the stupid...
The funniest thing about this is that they literally fucking abolished the debate council, the presidential debate council that used to exist because Donald Trump didn't want to play ball with them. And then they ended up coordinating with the Democratic Party individually, and they chose to do it on ABC. Like Trump chose to do it on ABC. It was CNN and ABC that got it. Okay. And he's still complaining about it. It's like, dog, you did this. Like, you chose it. Also, I will say this much. This level of chirping gonna make it a little bit harder to fucking, make it seem like you won or that you believe that you won. Know what I'm saying? This is not the statements coming from a man who truly believes he won the debate, and that's why he won't do another one.
I said, if you don't catch a pneumonia in this business, you're never going to catch a pneumonia, right? But I went to our great First Lady, and I said, darling, and I felt okay. It was amazing because you know, the athletes, they say, I left it on the field. I left it all on the field. Well, I did. Because
Wait, what? He said he received more. He chose it because he knew that if he lost, he could blame the bias on the moderators. No, dude. They didn't think that ABC would fucking actually fact check him. That's it. That's the only reason. And he also didn't think, in my opinion, that Kamala Harris would fucking clobber him, which is really funny. It's really funny to think about because, like, I didn't think he'd be this bad. I did not think he would eat every bait. I don't think his advisors thought he would eat every bait like that. Like, it wasn't even that Kamala Harris expertly crafted her statements. She did. She definitely did a really good job. But, like, he also did incredibly poorly. Like, he did worse than you would have expected him to do.
Not good. She said, does it look like you're not going to win? I said, it really looks that way. And we'll get by it. It's one of those things, but I was very disappointed. But I just felt it wasn't like, gee, if only I worked a little bit harder, because humanly, you couldn't work harder. Then about 5:30, I get a call from a very smart political guy. And he goes, sir, I'd like to congratulate you. I said, on what? He said, you won this election. And I said, what do you mean I won the election? I was told by every pundit that I lost the election. He said, no, you won the election. I'm 95% sure, because we've never seen so many people leaving an election that said, it's none of your business, right? Meaning, you know what? It's none of your business. We've never seen that before. A massive number, like almost 50%. Who'd you vote for? None of your business. He said, every single one of those people belong to you. They're up here.
I love this idea that, like, the actual election, which you can consider a census or a poll, right? But not like a regular poll, but, you know, probably the most decisive poll, is completely unimportant in this process. What is important is the exit poll. And even in that exit poll, what did the people say? They didn't say they were voting for Trump. They just said none of your business. Like, the stretch at this point that like 50% were embarrassed to admit that they voted for you after they voted for you is not the exact fucking ownage that you think this is, big dog. I feel like, you know, desperately trying to hang on to anything you can. Oh, he's talking about 26. Oh my God, that's even more pathetic. Oh my God, that's even more pathetic. Oh my Lord, he's talking about 2016. Oh my God, he's talking about the last time he won an election, which was 8 fucking years ago. Oh no, dude. Oh, I thought he was talking about 2020 still, which I thought was still pretty fucking pathetic. Like, talking about 2020 and how you lost is pathetic. But you know what's even worse than that? Talking about 2016. Okay? That is 8 whole years ago. People who are now eligible to vote at this election were 10 years old in 2016. 10, okay? They were saying goo goo gaga, and now they're gonna fucking vote. You're insane for bringing that shit up. Yeah. If you hear Adolf Hitler speeches that are translated and go, wow, we were told so many lies about how bad Hitler was, instead of going, oh my God, this sounds exactly like Donald Trump, and that's terrifying, we're fucked. It means that we are fucked, okay? And there are a shit ton of people who actually look at that and go, God damn, he's based.
Für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich my work for correctness, whether you believe that I have been diligent, that I have worked, that I have advocated for you in these years, that I have been decent. I have spent my time in service of my people. Now cast your vote. If yes, then stand up for me as I have stood up for you.
He said Volk in the beginning, which is like, you know, the in-group, okay, white people, whatever the Trump would consider, like, you know, Tucker Carlson calls them legacy Americans.
Like, she's a fantastic person. I've known her a long time. It's horrible and dangerous, and we're ruining our country. We're destroying. So Carrie told me that she's going to be focusing on the border, right? And she is, you're going to get it fixed, right?
As a German, I gotta say, comparing Hitler to Donald Trump is dangerous. Man, Germans, shut your bitch asses up, okay? First of all, Donald Trump absolutely is comparable to Adolf Hitler, and so was fucking George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, and so is Benjamin Netanyahu, okay? Suck my fucking dick, you stupid little bitches. You're literally like, you should be more embarrassed to fucking try to like put on this like weird facade, okay? Oh, we're so sad about what our grandparents did, that it's like it's uniquely bad and attributed to just us, and also the Arabs that are doing it to like Israel right now, because actually it's worse even what the Arabs are doing to Israel. Okay, I hate this fucking gatekeeping bullshit, dude. What reason is there to learn about historic wrongs if you cannot fucking apply them to the current wrongs that are happening that are damn near identical to the historic wrongs that happened? God damn, dude. Germans are playing the exact opposite side of the never again means just never the Holocaust and nothing else. It's one of the most frustrating aspects of like people gatekeeping certain aspects of history. It's like, oh, don't call them concentration camps, call them something else. No, man, I'm gonna call them concentration camps. Just suck my fucking dick, okay? Go take it up with your granddad, dumbass. Why are you calling him names? Because I don't have any fucking time for a German guy that looks at literally the Hitlerian prototype, and as I'm doing political commentary, hoping that people can fucking understand that like this is Adolf Hitler, we shouldn't do this again, okay? And some German guy who's got his fucking grandpappy's like best interest in mind comes in here and he's like, no, you don't understand. It's very dangerous to call Donald Trump Adolf Hitler. It's like, bro, go worry about the AfD, okay? Go do some more anti-fascism by fucking dumping pork lard on Muslim bakeries, okay, that are anti-genocide in Gaza, okay? Fuck, dude, I just, like, spiritually, so many goddamn Germans are broken, okay? You don't understand, okay? Das ist dangerous. You don't get it. Yeah, it's additionally funny when Germans say that, because then it almost seems like you're flexing. To us, in the outside world, it seems like you're flexing. Like, don't compare Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. That's dangerous. Like, we know what you really mean, dog. You're like, no. Adolf Hitler was like way better and way cooler, is what it sounds like to us. Okay? If you try to gatekeep Hitler like that, for us, you sound like a fucking fascist hipster. Okay? I'm just letting you know. Fix your fucking priorities, dude. It sounds weird as hell. I know that there's, for the record, I know that there's hella fucking actual leftist Germans in this chat. Okay, make no mistake. You know better than anyone else how fucking annoying liberal Germans are. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. That person is exactly who the fuck I'm talking about.
And it's dangerous work. And you know, they want to really do the job. They're stopped from doing their job. They want to do their job. They want to work. It's more dangerous. It's harder. But they want to save our country. These people are incredible, I'll tell you. As the people of Arizona understand better than anyone else, under Kamala Harris, our country is under a thing called invasion. Did you ever hear the word invasion?
When you say what? Oh, yeah, here. Listen
like
to
a
Adolf
military
Hitler.
invasion. We're being conquered and we are being occupied by a foreign element. And, you know, if you think about it,
Adolf Hitler,
China
ladies and gentlemen.
has a 5
Welcome back.
million
Welcome back, Adolf
man
Hitler.
army, mostly man in that case, I can tell you. But they have a 5 million person army, and we have 21 million people coming this year. This period of time, 21 million people over the period of the last few years. Think of it, they have a 5 million, that's a big army. And we have 21 million people here, so cut out half. That means you have 10 million people, and they have guns. You just see that. If you look at Colorado, take a look at Aurora. They have guns that are the most sophisticated guns anywhere in the world, high-powered stuff. And, you know, you say to yourself, so if you cut the number in half, 10 million people, and cut that number in half, 5 million, that's the size of China, and what they have is an army. It's pretty dangerous stuff. We got to get them the hell out of here.
What is he talking about? Oh, just every person that is undocumented living on U.S. soil is actually a
As
part of a
discussed
fucking
in the
army that is
debate-
there to destroy the United States of America. Mind you, they are literally coming from every fucking country on the planet. He's saying that like the army that we have bred in our ranks is actually like the Guatemalan abuela who is fucking living here and like maybe cleans your mother's house or some shit, or the Caribbean auntie that is taking care of your fucking grandparents, okay, who are more racist than Adolf Hitler in some ways, okay? All of those people are actually a part of a fucking body, a hive mind, an organization that is trying to destroy the United States of America. Your moms, some of you have undocumented parents, some of you are undocumented, right? He's saying all of these people are together and they're actually here to kill Americans. They are an enemy. They are foreigners that are living in every corner and they're enemies and they're here to kill you.
Fly them in. Think of that. They fly them in by jets. They're flying in all the time. And Art, they don't count those numbers, do they? They don't talk about them. When they fly in, and then they have a special app, right? They have an app where the car.
Here.
Advise that this video includes historical causes.
Du meine Arbeit für richtig hältst. Tormented Jewish people is shameful. In connection with the Jewish question, I have this to say. It is a shameful spectacle to see how the whole democratic world is oozing sympathy for the poor, tormented Jewish people, but remains hard-hearted and obdurate when it comes to helping them, which is surely, in view of its attitude, an obvious duty.
The Germans, it sounds like you belittle Hitler's actions. I wouldn't use it myself because German sensibilities start kicking in. Yeah, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, there is no reason to ever learn about the Holocaust if you're not going to use the example and the lessons to not do it again. When we are sitting at the eve of the Holocaust, a comparison to that is apt. Like what he is saying about Jews, Donald Trump is saying about immigrants, okay? The choice of words, man, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm not here to fucking play some song and dance with you, okay? I don't care. I don't care how fucking Germans feel about the Holocaust. You want to know why? Because there's currently a genocide happening in Gaza, and at least the way that Germans, liberal Germans, are communicating their fucking sensibilities on it is literally Hitlerian, okay? They love Adolf Hitler, or the Jewish version of Adolf Hitler, in fucking Benjamin Netanyahu. So miss me with this fucking bullshit. If you are coming in here to be like, oh, you're minimizing the Holocaust, then you probably are that liberal German who's doing that as well on the other side. Because that's fascism. What Donald Trump is doing is fascism. The underpinning of this sentiment is just fascism, okay? Ultra-nationalist, tying the in-group into a genetic predisposition and simultaneously fucking claiming that the out-group has inferior qualities, that they somehow want to fucking murder all of us in the in-group, that want to destroy American society. That's just fascism. That's exactly what Hitler was, and that's exactly what Benjamin Netanyahu is, and that's exactly what Zionism is as well. So if you come in here and you cry about the comparisons, then I'm sorry, you are exactly the kind of fucking liberal that your grandfather probably was, that allowed this fucking fascist monster to rise to power, because you were too predisposed with the KPD being the real problem, the trade unionists being the real problem, the socialist Germans being the real problem. Oh, God forbid we have a red revolution in Germany. That would be terrifying. That's exactly what your dumbass liberal grandpappy thought too. And then that dumbass liberal grandpappy of yours picked up arms and went to slaughter Jews. Okay? That is how fascism works. And it's happening right now. It's happening in Israel and it's happening in America. And if you come in here and do some aesthetic bullshit on that issue, you can suck my Turkish cock. Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus fucking Christ.
Arguments that are brought up as an excuse for not helping them actually speak for us Germans and Italians. For this is what they say. One, we, that is the democracies, are not in a position to take in the Jews. Yet in these empires there are not 10 people to the square kilometer, while Germany, with her 135 inhabitants to the square kilometer, is supposed to have room for them. Two.
Talking about the Haitian illegals now. Let's hear it.
Was charged with savagely murdering his two roommates. He had two roommates set up by the people that set that up in this country. Welcome. They go, welcome. What would you like? Oh, I'd like to have a nice room. Okay, we'll give you two
By the way,
roommates.
like, it's even close. Benjamin Netanyahu's statements are even closer to Adolf Hitler's, because that's exactly what he said about the Palestinian. Nobody wants to help the Arabs. No one wants to extend an open arm to the Arabs. Nobody wants to help us in Israel either, okay? It's literally verbatim, 1-to-1, which is why it's additionally hilarious that so many fucking anti-Semitic fascists are like, oh, yeah, like they love Hitler, and then they secretly hate Benjamin Netanyahu, I guess, but it doesn't matter because, like, you just come across as jealous because he's getting to do what you want to do in America, okay? You're just jealous that Benjamin Netanyahu gets to do what you want to do in the United States of America, and he gets to do it with your tax dollars. That's it.
Get it ready. We'll bring back our country in many ways. That's one way. But to me, that's like one of the most important ways. Well, we'll also stop World War III. That's an important way.
Like, you think Hitler didn't present himself as like a guy who is just, you know, forced to do this? He doesn't want to do this. Why do you think the Tucker Carlson, the fake podcast historian guy that talked to Tucker Carlson was saying exactly that? Of course he did. He presented, like, people need to make an argument, okay? They can't just like magically wake up one day and be like, we're going to kill all the Jews. And then all the Germans are like, all right, let's do it. That's not how this shit works. That's not how this shit works. Hasan, I just wanted to point the view of the liberal Germans with regards to the choice words. I agree with what's happening in Gaza is a genocide and Trump is a fash. I don't care. I don't care about fucking liberal Germans and their sentiment, okay? I don't care. That's my point. My point is I don't care. I don't care about the optics of the situation from the perspective of liberal Germans. Like, God forbid. I can't even get fucking liberal Americans to understand what the fuck is going on. You think I give a shit about liberal Germans? Jesus Christ, dude.
And I'm telling you, this is true. Kamala, a committed Marxist, you know, her father's a Marxist professor, will be far worse than crooked Joe Biden. She's going to be worse because he doesn't really believe it. She does. She does believe it. And she'll go back to no fracking and all the other things we talked about. She'll go back to them on day one. But on day one of my administration, I will stop this invasion. I will seal the border. I will end the Harris migrant flights. And I will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. Right? We have no choice. We have no choice. Thank you. Thank you. We will not allow our country to be destroyed. They're destroying our country. We will get the criminals out, and we will not.
Hey, dumbass lib Germans who were worried about the optics of comparing it to fucking Adolf Hitler. Google the Madagascar plan so that you can better understand your own grandfather's history. Okay, like, it didn't start off with like, we're just gonna fucking execute every Jew. Okay, it didn't start off like that.
Over the world, and they're coming from prisons and they're coming from jails. We're not going to let this happen to our country. Another terrible effect of the Harris migrant invasion, and she's the one that wanted it more than Biden. Biden didn't know what the hell was happening. He said, oh, that sounds like a nice idea. Is that it is driving housing costs through the roof. You know that, right?
Yeah, housing is a problem. Why? Migrants. Grocery costs are high. Why? Migrants. I stubbed my toe yesterday. Why? A Guatemalan migrant is responsible. Everything is migrants. Migrants are in every corner. Migrant, migrant, migrant.
They assure us we cannot take them unless Germany is prepared to allow them a certain amount of capital to bring with them as immigrants. For hundreds of years, Germany was good enough to receive these elements, although they possessed nothing except infectious political and physical diseases.
Wow. Wow. So these Jews who migrated into, migrant Jews who migrated into Germany, migrants, brought infectious diseases with them? Who else says that, like, right now? That's right. It's the buttoned up version of Donald Trump, J.D. Vance. He says that.
What they possess today, they have by a very large extent gained at the cost of the less astute German nation by the most reprehensible manipulations. Today, we are merely paying this people what it deserves. When the German nation was, thanks to the inflation instigated and carried through by Jews, deprived of the entire savings which it had accumulated in years of honest work, when the rest of the world took away the German nation's foreign investments, when we were divested of the whole of our colonial possessions, these philanthropic considerations evidently carried little noticeable weight with democratic statesmen. Today I can only assure these gentlemen that thanks to the
It's like, oh, we lost our colonies, oh, and then the Democratic statesmen didn't even care about us losing our colonies, dude.
brutal
Aw.
education with which the democracies favored us for 15 years, we are completely hardened to all.
By the way, woke mind virus is I mean, it's directly one-to-one. It's not almost one-to-one. It's directly one-to-one. It's just the language has been updated because like everybody kind of like liberalism defeated Nazism and basically became Nazism. Okay. The Western powers, along with the USSR, militarily defeated Nazi Germany. And then the Western powers, in an effort to continue or not even neoliberal, but at the time, like liberal hegemonic dominance and defeat the much larger scourge of socialism, communism, basically adopted the same exact people, the people that were responsible for the death and destruction in many of these circumstances. And what ended up happening is just fascism never died. It actually thrived under liberalism. Fascism thrived under liberalism in the beginning stages of like fascism's rise to power anyway. And that exact same cycle has continued for the past 100 years. That's precisely the reason why you see even direct people that held the guns, okay, against the Jews in places like Ukraine, for example, get standing ovations from liberals because they don't think beyond the fact that like this brave Ukrainian veteran in the Canadian Parliament was anti-socialist during World War II. Hitler lost personally, but fascism won. That is precisely the reason why you're experiencing Hitlerian speech by the United States of American Congress members, by the president of the United States, the former president, and the liberals are playing the exact same fake defensive posture in this regard as they did historically back then. It is very, very frustrating. It's a one-to-one. People understand that Nazis are bad, so you can't say Nazis are good. You have to say something different. So you can't say, for example, that the Frankfurt School is causing the collapse of Germany by instilling us with Jewish mind poison. You say woke mind virus. You say cultural degeneracy. You say cultural Marxism. You don't say Judeo-Marxism. You say cultural Marxism instead. Okay, not that long ago, Christian fascists used to openly fucking state that this was a Christian nation. Now they say it's a Judeo-Christian nation, our Judeo-Christian values, okay? But that is an allegiance that is fraught, okay? It's a fraudulent allegiance. It will end up hurting Jewish people as well, okay? Cultural Bolshevism turned into cultural Marxism. This is something that I used to talk about with respect to Jordan Peterson all the goddamn time, a person who presented himself as a liberal for years and years and years, right? When it was very obvious that he was a fucking fascist. This is a reach. It's a reach for you because you don't understand history. You don't understand anything, really. Every single thing that I said in terms of like the American and Western powers, but specifically the Western world under the Marshall Plan and under NATO, straight the fuck up implemented, straight the fuck up put fascists in positions of prominence, positions of power. In West Germany, they directly re-Hitlerized the country. That's 100% correct. Like that is literally what happened. Okay? That is exactly what happened. Like you can consider that a reach, but the unfortunate reality for you is that you are no different than the Republicans that you think you're smarter than. Okay? They deny reality about like, they deny reality that is in front of them. You deny reality throughout history and also subsequently the reality that's in front of you. If you don't recognize that these guys are the exact same type of fascists, but with like different language and sometimes not different language at all, as a matter of fact, okay? East Germany, not West. The West is still normal. No, dog. I'm talking about West Germany. West Germany was directly ruled by the same fucking Nazis. Okay? I'm talking about the Cold War. And what are the consequences? What are the consequences of the collapse of the USSR? What are the consequences of East Germany and West Germany unifying? Underserved, underprivileged communities that were in a state of disrepair, that didn't get the fucking Marshall Plan dollars, that then also did not get developed adequately, and the horrifying circumstances that East Germany was subjected to post the USSR collapse is exactly why so many fucking poor Germans in East Germany are AfD supporters. Okay? There is no difference between those guys voting for AfD than the Springfield, Ohio white guys who might have been lifelong Democrats turning into fucking Hitlerian fascists there. That's it.